Now we gotta talk about artificial intelligence, generative AI, what it could potentially do to the jobs market. Is it an inflationary impetus? Is it disinflationary? What companies might benefit? And what are some fears that are circulating? Because I'll tell you, Elon Musk, along with 1,100 engineers yesterday, signed an open letter calling for a 6-month pause on any kind of artificial intelligence that is stronger than ChatGPT 4 level strength. Now, I tweeted about this. Of course, I feel like when I tweet logic, it's not as sort of like viral as if you tweet something that's more emotion-based. But I do it anyway because I like to share what I think is logical input. And hopefully you like following for that. And so I shared this. I said, 1,100 engineers and Elon Musk signed an open letter demanding any artificial intelligence development stronger than ChatGPT 4 pause for 6 months. Based on this scientific game theory I just drew, it looks like your choices as a company are pause and have a 50% chance of dying, or don't pause and have a 50% likelihood of dying. Looks like you're screwed either way. In other words, in a game theory example, in my opinion, it makes absolutely zero sense for any company to actually pause their artificial intelligence research. Because think about it. If both companies pause, what do you get? Well, you get a stagnation, right? Defined by PP. Both companies pause, you get a stagnation, everybody loses. The potential benefit is, hey, maybe we could regulate AI and the world doesn't end, right? Because the idea, if both companies or all companies don't pause, then maybe the world ends because robots and AI take over the world. All right, whatever. That's sort of this extreme argument right now. But the more likelihood is that some companies pause and some don't. And in that case, the companies that don't pause win. The companies that do pause die. So basically, by pausing, you're signing up for killing your company. And if both companies don't pause, you're basically signing up for killing your companies. So the best answer is everybody pauses, but the likelihood of everybody doing that is basically zero. It's a classic prisoner's dilemma scenario. So, without going into the details of exactly what that is, I think the bottom line is simple. When it comes to Elon Musk's letter, it's a nice way to suggest, hey, can everybody please put their swords down for a moment while everybody else catches up? And in public, people are going to be like, yeah, sounds like a great idea. And in private, everybody's going to be like, keep going, man, keep going. Come on, man. The world don't work like that. It's way too competitive. Way too competitive. Hell, I'll say it. If everybody else pauses, I'll jump in and I'll start developing. I'm not a developer. Although I have developers that work with me. So maybe I'm one of those not pausers. Ooh. But anyway, we got to look at this Goldman Sachs piece. Let's take a look at this. All right, what do we got here? Generative AI, laying out the investment framework. We're going to be going into some specific stocks as well. But listen to this. Generative AI further unlocks value as it extends the utility created by AI or software, providing new tools for enhancing end user productivity. Now, I have to say, I've been playing with generative AI, and one of the things about AI is that we've regularly been saying, oh, well, AI is not going to remove like creatives, right? There's no way artificial intelligence is going to affect creative people. So as long as you're creative, you're good, right? I don't know about that. Just because, I mean, you can now feed into an AI, hey, AI, design me an app. And even though some of these AIs, they're not really good about putting text on yet, in terms of actually giving you inspiration for layouts, look at this. I put into an AI generator, give me a real estate investing app. And this is what it came up with. I have to say, for 30 seconds of work, it's kind of cool. It gives you inspiration for buttons and colors and gradients and style. In the future, we'll be able to just hit export and you'll get the code for it. And then you can adjust, the text and all the little funky miscellaneous stuff. Generative AI is pretty impressive. I mean, to the point where Max is like, Dad, can you draw a ball with eyes coming out of a box and glasses and like a little character? And the AI gave me 4 different choices, and I was blown away. I mean, look at this. Within like 30 seconds, look what I get. This is insane. This is really good. I mean, like, I can't draw that in 30 seconds. And that looks phenomenal. I mean, how long would it take a creative to actually design this stuff? 2 hours, 3 hours? I don't know, even if somebody's really good. An hour? It took the software 30 seconds. And if you can now export all of these elements in the future to Photoshop, and then or whatever, some kind of software, After Effects, whatever, and start animating this or playing with this, boy, I mean, I thought creatives would be safe from AI. Generative AI is pretty dang impressive. Everybody's at risk. But anyway, how do we make money off of it? Well, that's why we're talking about Goldman Sachs. So generative AI is about generating stuff like we just did. We estimate that generative AI software has a total addressable market of $150 billion versus the total software industry of $685 billion. No, it's not Stable Diffusion. It's my secret. But listen to that. That is 150. That's 22% of the entire total addressable market for software could be literally generative AI. But you know what the beautiful thing about generative AI is it isn't even processing on my computer. I did that on an iPhone. Why did I do it on an iPhone? Because it didn't use my iPhone's graphics cards. It used a server somewhere to do all the artificial intelligence work and then beam over an end product to me. People made fun of me for, in my active ETF, you could learn more about by going to meetkevin.com. People made fun of me. They're like, oh, Kevin, you're too heavy on chips. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Have you ever in your life used a backbone controller for a cell phone? Have you ever used generative AI? And do you understand where the video processing is done? Maybe not. Well, I'll explain. Not on your phone. So this right here is a backbone controller. It's pretty cool. You can put your phone into it. And look, I'm not a game review channel over here, but the point is just to say that this basically turns into a gaming controller, just like this. And it's a backbone, little controller or whatever it is over here. And the cool thing about this is I don't actually use the processors for gaming in my phone. I can stream them through xbox.com and basically have a virtual gaming machine that I can stream through on here. Now, yeah, you should have a low latency internet connection, but fortunately I got fiber over here, so it works very well. But I basically have an Xbox in my pocket, and when I travel, if I want to do anything, I got a whole Xbox with all the games I could want in my pocket. Now, I rarely use it. I generally give it to the kids. But the point is, I just gave you a few examples here of how generative AI could be really incredible. Not only can you generate characters and then animate them for video games, or you could generate app ideas, but all of this is being processed not by your devices, but by other devices. That's a huge boon, in my opinion, to the chips industry, because who's processing it? Data centers and servers. Anyway, Goldman Sachs has some ideas in terms of how some companies could benefit, and so let's take a look at that. All right, so we raise, as a result of this piece here, we raise our price targets, $10 on Microsoft, Salesforce $5, Adobe $5, ooh, it's one of the ones I have exposure to incorporate higher outer year estimates to reflect our conviction in the success/adoption of newly launched generative AI projects. It's pretty exciting. Copilot, by the way, is a fantastic tool for basically helping programmers code a lot faster. Additionally, we highlight companies like Intel, Google, Amazon, NVIDIA, and Meta as the companies best positioned to succeed in the new AI-driven paradigm. This is pretty exciting. So I want to talk about this some more, and we'll go into some detail here, as well as some potential risk factors. We'll go into detail specifically on these companies. But take a look at how this is starting to also change the media narrative. So look at this. Generative AI. This was on the front page of the Wall Street Journal today. Generative AI is already changing white-collar work as we know it. And they basically have a whole piece talking about how people are like, oh gosh, we are actually going to see job loss from this. And they're talking about how companies from Walmart to ZipRecruiter and Yelp are already kind of basically plotting how to use AI to take over the world. Quite frankly, I think at some point in the future, I think this is just like a very realistic point of view. I think at some point in the future, using AI, and it could be now, using AI versus not using AI will be as extreme as using a computer versus not using a computer. Like, let me use a more relatable example. Well, at least to my generation. If somebody's like, hey, I'm gonna mail you something or I'm going to fax you something, and you're like, what the F? Why don't you just email it? Okay, that's kind of the level of difference that I project for AI. And I think that every company in the future will use AI. It will be as simple as saying, we use email in the future. Like, of course you're going to use AI. Then it's just gonna come down to which companies are going to be best positioned to use that most effectively. At my real estate startup, we're very excited about using it. It's still too early for us to let it make decisions for us. Way too early for that. But we could definitely use it to ping us of certain ideas or trends or deals. So we really like that. That's already working. It's pretty incredible. Anyway, let's keep going. So I've actually bought deals from my AI already. Not for my real estate startup, but for myself. A couple years ago, I was using a software. I go through the software. I'm like, oh, damn, that is a really good deal. It is. So, like, it still takes the human element today, but the potential is like, anyway, so what do we got over here? Monetization in enterprise software and cloud computing. Just as cloud hyperscalers like AWS, Azure, and Google Cloud Platform commercialized cloud infrastructure and platforms, which in turn accelerated the growth of software services businesses, we believe that OpenAI's ChatGPT will drive adoption of generative AI across software enterprises. In this report, we further explore the opportunities for AI to be integrated into the tech stacks of the future by drawing an analogy between cloud computing and an IT stack layered with AI. AI is expected to drive significant productivity gains for the economy. They estimate potentially $7 trillion of global economic growth over a 10-year period, with productivity growing 1.5 percentage points faster annually over the same period. In other words, AI could potentially expand our GDP substantially faster than anybody is expecting today. Now, this is actually an argument that the great Cathie Wood tells us. In fact, when I was at dinner with Cathie Wood, she specifically wanted to drill home, Kevin, nobody knows what's coming. And it's not like it's a big secret. She talks about this herself as well. But the fact that it came up during dinner, it just showed me her passion for this belief. And we're seeing more and more of this. It's really, really incredible. So we believe generative AI can contribute a TAM of $150 billion to the global software stack. I agree. It's also, there's an idea here that maybe, just maybe, we can outgrow China if we can have an edge on AI versus allowing China to sort of catch up to our GDP, so to speak, right? And that's really a suggestion of maybe the US being able to insulate itself. Generative AI tools have far-reaching implications. Generative AI is enabling sales and marketing teams to generate new content, DevOps engines to write faster code or code faster, knowledge workers to improve day-to-day office efficiency, and scientists to develop drugs for rare diseases and much more. There are a lot of actually really cool implications with artificial intelligence for the healthcare industry, being able to even just diagnose patient ailments in a way that doctors really haven't been is phenomenal. Sometimes it takes going to a doctor 5, 6, 7 different times to try to get a conclusion to a certain ailment. Whereas if an AI was able to maybe just suggest a solution, there could potentially be faster medical care or more urgent care in the case of indicators that may say, hey, there could be something more malignant happening. So this is really good for healthcare as well. And keep this in mind too, ChatGPT is already reportedly replacing workers. I reported on this a few weeks ago, but I think it's a perfect place to reiterate this before we go into a little bit more of that analysis from Goldman Sachs on which companies and why. Companies that reported using ChatGPT to resume builder said they used ChatGPT 66%. 6% of the respondents said they used it for writing code, 58% for copywriting content, 57% for customer support, 77% for writing job descriptions. Actually, for like listing descriptions on the multiple listing service for Airbnb, well, Airbnbs aren't on there, but for like real estate listings or Airbnb itself, car rental descriptions, job descriptions. Basically, copywriters, to some extent, are either being aided by ChatGPT or just replaced at some point in the future. Kind of scary time to be a copywriter, because essentially you could take a whole document, throw it into an artificial intelligence program, and go look for, run-on sentences, wordy sentences, not just spelling and grammar, but actually like more logic-based problems. Hey, where does this not make sense? Where does the sentiment stray? And these are some pretty incredible prompts you can ask AI these days, and they're already doing a phenomenal job. Out of 500 companies interviewed by Resume Builder, 250 companies, half of them, said that ChatGPT has already replaced workers at the company. How wild is that? This comes at the same time as multiple different companies and partnerships are being expanded upon. You've got the Google partnerships and Google Duplex. You've got Bard over at Microsoft. Some really incredible expansions. And ChatGPT 4 is substantially more powerful than ChatGPT 3.5 already. Let's keep going here. So generative AI, we talked about that. We expect incumbents. A new wave of innovation across the incumbents. Now, this is such a really incredible argument. Usually one of the explanations or reasons people say that, AI, or rather mega caps are a bad investment, is because they say mega caps used to be innovative, and that's why they were disruptive and grew as much as they did, but now they're not innovative anymore. In other words, the innovation is dead. Well, AI is being argued to potentially being capable of allowing some of the existing massive companies like Microsoft, Alphabet, NVIDIA, Amazon, Salesforce, Meta, Intuit, and Adobe to lead the industry in sort of a new wave of innovation. I think before I may have mentioned Intel. I suppose I meant to say Intuit. But anyway, that's interesting. So then there, and mostly because there's a lot of talk about this innovation slowdown in America, and so that's very interesting. So this expands the opportunity for more seamless upsells, cross promotions. Cloud providers we expect to use generative AI will drive demand for compute. Compute is great for, again, the chips manufacturing sector. See, we've got a little note here about how chips manufacturing companies sell the pickaxes, while software have to find the gold. Let's take a look at their talk about Microsoft. They think Microsoft has this large enhancement to really their Edge browser and their Bing search experience by including their Bard AI into search results. They see that as a pretty good driver of potentially Microsoft Edge software usage, their browser, which could lead to more potentially advertising sales for Microsoft. It's actually really interesting. I was reading a story just yesterday about how ad sales, despite the crazy economy, are expecting to pick up. Actually, it's worth looking at that because it's quite related here. Oh yeah, here it is. U.S. ad sale spending still expected to grow in 2023 despite, quote, stressful economic signals. Now that's important for companies that I like exposure to as well, like Trade Desk. I like to hear that there's still growth in advertising. I've actually fled to Trade Desk because I think they're one of the most pure play advertisers that's actually in a very growing niche within advertising. But if the entire advertising space still grows, that's even more phenomenal. So I saved this article. I was starting to read it a bit yesterday. Let's look at this. A major ad forecaster said advertising is still expected to grow in 2023 despite mixed economic signals, a resiliency that industry pros say would have been unlikely during earlier periods of turbulence. Media owners And this is actually great for Microsoft and Google. I actually stopped investing in Google for a while, and I have many reasons for that. We've been talking about that a lot in the course member live streams. But now I'm starting to wonder, hey, is there potential? Has Google potentially hit its Nike swoosh bottom? I mean, just to compare to the Nike swoosh for a moment, there's Google. You're still kind of bobbing along in that lower region here, but we've definitely inflected off the low lows. So maybe worth revisiting in our course member live stream today. But let's look at ads here. Media owners' U.S. ad revenues are expected to grow 3.4% to $326 billion this year, according to a quarterly forecast from Magna, a media intelligence and investment firm. Interesting. That's actually surprising. That's slightly down from their December estimate, but the fact that it's still positive for the overall media industry is actually really incredible. 3.4% for the entire industry. That's great. The firm expects little or no growth in the first half of the year, followed by a recovery in the second half as the economy becomes more stable. Wow. I mean, this flies in the face of this idea that, Q3, Q4 recession. This ad buying or this ad analytics firm is actually suggesting, no, things will actually be better in the second half. Now, that does sort of get reiterated by a lot of company earnings calls who say they expect their margins to be stronger in the second half as they finally have raised prices. They're not raising prices anymore now, but then they've laid off excess workers and they're becoming a little bit more efficient. That's actually a very interesting argument that the second half may not be as scary as people keep forecasting that it may be. And that agrees with my Nike swoosh thesis, so maybe I'm a bit biased there. Keep in mind, by the way, my goal now is to send, probably with starting this week or next week, sending daily buy-sell alerts for some trades that I'm doing. A few days ago, we had a really cool sell-put opportunity that yielded about 10%, and then it's actually performed very, very well over the last few days. And so we're looking for lower-risk cash opportunities, and so we had a great opportunity on a sell-put there where volatility was still high unnecessarily. So, but stuff like that is what you might expect in the course member live streams. I'll link down below. Or just go to meetkevin.com. Okay, so let's keep going here. The economy is showing early signs of improvement in Jan-Feb, including receding inflation, but slow and steady growth in GDP. We're always expecting more of a slowdown in 23 with tepid macro expectations, but 3 months later, we see economic signals, oh wow, listen to this, are actually not so bad. And some of them are improved if we compare to 3 months ago. Wow. This is a phenomenal piece by the Wall Street Journal here. This is actually quite unexpected. I thought I had to hide in Trade Desk for my advertising exposure, but this is really suggesting that the advertising market is really still quite strong. You know, one of the companies that I keep referring to when it comes to advertising, a company that's just spending like crazy, is actually Carnival Cruise Lines. Oh, my hair is a little wild, isn't it? Isn't that beautiful, though? Don't you like it when my hair's crazy? That's because I'm crazy. See? I mean, who else would drink coffee out of a Don't Sue Me Bro mug? But I appreciate you saying that, One Positive Dude from Twitch. That's actually a perfect name. Appreciate you. But anyway, this is really incredible. I was going to say, I don't remember what I was going to say. Let's just keep going. Let's see here. Oh, yeah. Carnival Cruise Lines is advertising like crazy because they're only at 91% occupancy and they're like freaking out trying to get to more occupancy and they can't pull it off. So what are they doing? They're like tripling down on advertising. It's wild. Anyway, if it was 20 years ago in this economic climate, we'd probably expect advertising spending to fall, but we don't. Because there are organic growth factors to put against this macro environment that is uncertain indeed. The organic drivers that boosted the ad market in 2021 and the first half of 2022 are still around and mitigating the impact of stressful economic signals. Automotive ad spending is also expected to rebound in 2023, thanks to pent-up demand for auto marketing. Wow, this is actually really incredible. That's awesome. Okay, so great news for advertising. Let's go back though, since this is really supposed to be about ChatGPT style stocks here. AI across its platform, particularly across core products at Microsoft. And here are some various products they have. Okay, fantastic. Microsoft is in a unique position to to augment human productivity. You know, I remember when I interviewed, it was a great in-person interview with Brett Whitten over at ARK Invest. he suggested that AI in the future will just be basically embedded right into our Google spreadsheets or our Microsoft Excel. And so we'll be able to tell AI, hey, and to some extent you could already do this, hey, I don't want to do all this work. Can you basically do this for me? And with a click of a button, it's done. I used to spend 8 to 10 hours a day building spreadsheets. And I'm really familiar with the efforts and tribulations that come with building spreadsheets. And golly, if AI could check your logic even, oh, it's great. And it's already doing that. You could go through some Twitter posts where people purposefully take code that they deleted some code from, and they inject it into AI or the ChatGPT 4, and they're like, hey, can you fact check this? And the AI's like, oh, it looks like, there's a section missing. This would actually work if you injected this piece of code in. And it has no idea what you deleted, but it basically finds exactly what the problem is in the code and adds it right back in for you. It's scary. It's like a self-healing robot. That actually kind of makes me think of video games, like when you shoot the alien and then they look down at their bullet wound and it just heals back up. It's like, is that all you got? Oh, 2 Transformers-ys. Anyway, oh man. Hey, this is the perfect spot to remind you to get life insurance in as little as 5 minutes, because we have no idea when the robots are going to take over and kill us all. I think this is probably not the best way to advertise life insurance because it's a little bit gloomy and, hey, we got to put the paid promotion thing up here. But yeah, you could get it in as little as 5 minutes by going to metcavin.com/life. All right, here we go. So, all right, so Microsoft, fantastic. Prioritizing R&D, okay, great. Alphabet, going back 5 years ago, Google began a series of introduction outlining how AI would be the driving force behind many of the company's products, alongside a broader computing shift, including Google Assistant, Duplex, Lens, Translate, blah, 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 blah. We see the recent announcement of Bard as an extension of these efforts to match product iteration and continuing the evolution of search, with recent customer excitement about ChatGPT, of course. Okay, great. So what are we going to do? What are their examples? They want to infuse all of its products with AI, such as Maps, YouTube's recommendation engine, autocomplete on Gmail. Autocomplete on Gmail is already pretty dang good. In addition, we see Google at the forefront of an AI-driven automation within digital advertising with Performance Max. It's automated end-to-end campaign management service that optimizes spend across inventory. Okay, now that's actually pretty brilliant. This potential that you could actually just have, and maybe they already have it based on this thing called Performance Max, you could potentially have an ad campaign, and then rather than you monitoring it or having someone else monitor it that you're paying for, you basically just have AI monitor your campaigns. Now, why is that important? Because when you spend money for ads, you end up as a business spending more money when the ads do well. So there's an incentive for the ads to do very well for everyone. Like Google wants your ads to succeed, right? Because then you'll spend more money. Well, what if your ad starts out doing really well and then people get numb to it? Well, maybe AI could kind of do that for you by transitioning some of the wording or changing it up a little bit. So quick little Google here on, Performance Max. So I'm like Googling about Google. That just seems monopolistic. But anyway, Performance Max is a new global-based campaign type that allows performance advertisers to access all of their Google Ads inventory from a single campaign, designed to complement your keyword-based search campaigns to help you discover more converting customers across all channels. Performance Max helps you drive performance based on your goals. Performance Max combines Google's automation technologies across bidding, budget optimization, attribution, and more. See, that's actually pretty smart. That's fantastic. I mean, that's a game changer for advertising, honestly. That's really cool. Google's ads automation uses machine learning to grow your business. You can input your unique expertise, such as budget, business goals, and conversions you want to measure. Google Ads automation will find potential customers for your goals and serve the most appropriate ad with optimal bid and maximize campaign performance. I want to maximize performance. I love maximizing performance. All right. So that's cool. with internet coverage, Alphabet leading blah, 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 blah. Okay, that's just pitchy over here, multi-track record, okay, whatever. NVIDIA, what do we have over here? We envision a whole host of semiconductor companies across compute, network, and memory landscape benefiting from the proliferation of AI. We continue to highlight NVIDIA, a stock recently upgraded to buy. I've got a big position in NVIDIA, so I feel biased reading this one, but whatever. To support the production and development of larger models, whether it be for major cloud hyperscalers or for enterprise customers. As we stated in our upgrade note here, we model an acceleration of the rate in NVIDIA's wallet share within the context of overall cloud CapEx as a growing percentage of data center compute. Okay, basically, stock go up is what they're trying to say here. Furthermore, to the extent there's any doubt related to the sustainability of NVIDIA's competitive position, we believe the acceleration in AI development will, if anything, serve to extend the company's leadership. Notice how they're not talking AMD over here. That's pretty incredible. That's awesome. Wow. While much of the focus around the theme of generative AI has been dominated by market share by search and gross margins, blah, 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 we believe enterprises push deeper into machine learning with companies like Amazon. Interesting. AWS is exposed to this theme in a number of ways through their AI machine learning services such as Amazon Lex, Poly, Transcribe, Comprehend, Kendra, Translate, SageMaker, among others. That's a good point. You know, I mean, again, a lot of these platforms are hosted at a company like Google or Amazon, and then you basically let them do the compute for you. The same advertising benefit that Google saw could be talked about at Amazon as well. That's pretty incredible. Wow. All right. Salesforce. As part of Salesforce's path to unlocking value, we outline the view that the incorporation of generative AI have long-tail benefits for the companies for end user experience. Okay, I'm gonna they announced Einstein GPT for sales and marketing and stuff. Something that's really cool about AI for sales is the potential to predict when you should actually reach out to your customer. Well, I think that's really, really cool. When I was a real estate agent, I'm still a real estate broker, but when I was actively selling real estate, I'd have my own customer resource manager that I built, which was pretty basic, but it was still awesome. It was perfect. And so I would look and go, oh, I haven't followed up with this client in X number of days. But one of the things that I was always frustrated by was I would look at the list and I would go, okay, even though I haven't followed up with this client at 45 days, I personally know that I shouldn't follow up with this client until 6 months from now. But I personally know I should follow up with this client not after 45 days, but after 10 days because they're very hot and the other person's very cold. But will be hot in the future. Anyway, that sort of thinking, I'm personally trying to predict. Well, a machine could probably do that a lot better than me. So it's very interesting. I kind of agree. That's actually very interesting from a customer resource manager point of view. AI could be a game changer for Salesforce. I hadn't even thought about that. But now that I'm putting myself in the shoes of a sales representative, hell yeah. Meta. We see Meta as okay, so I've had problems with mentally with Meta because they're so convinced on this like virtual reality and AI. Personally, I think virtual reality is like 20, 30 years away. I think augmented reality will be bitchin'. Like, I want to just put regular glasses on. Do I have any glasses here? I don't have any glasses here. I just want to put regular glasses on and be able to have like, I don't know, news feeds or like news alerts pop up on screen, you know? Kind of like imagine walking around while you're listening to a YouTube video and then all of a sudden a banner pops up that reminds you about courses and an ETF and a real estate startup and affiliate links. And yeah, anyway. So, okay, back so anyway, I don't like that they're spending all this money over there at Meta, but it's been a great place since their lows of about $80. I'll give them that. So anyway, what do we have over here? So they see $110 billion in CapEx, the majority of which is going to Meta's AI investments. With regard to generative AI specifically, Meta has launched a number of products including Make a Scene and Make a Video, a text-to-image and text-to-video model to optimize blah 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 access to their artificial intelligence and API, whatever. Same thing with ad targeting. That's true. They'll have the benefit of ad targeting. Generative AI. Debates will likely persist for them. Yes, I agree. Reels. Okay, cool. Adobe. Though Adobe made its first announcement under the generative AI umbrella at its Summit conference last week, we highlighted Adobe's early investments in AI machine learning tech, evidenced by the release of Sensei in 2016. So I wonder how they could do that. Like, I wonder if you could use AI to basically build an architectural rendering for you. That would be really cool if you were like an architect. And I don't know why I'm thinking AutoCAD right here, but AutoCAD is not Adobe. AutoCAD does a lot of architectural work, and I wonder if you could use AI over there to sort of generate models. Like if you could take a Matterport scan and then have AI do the actual like 2D plan for you appropriately and fact check it because there's some conversion problems from Matterport. That'd be pretty sick because now you're really taking the real world and able to manipulate it with generative AI. That's crazy. Anyway, Adobe would be more of your like After Effects or Photoshop or Lightroom. I mean, quite frankly, some of the AI that you could use now already with like Lightroom to automatically enhance your photos is really good. It's pretty incredible. ChatGPT was the fastest application to exceed 100 users. Pretty incredible. How does it work? Fine, whatever. I did want to also hit this story here. This is a financial. Remember how I was talking about how the Wall Street Journal was talking about basically jobs being affected? The Financial Times takes it a step further and goes as many as 300 million jobs could be affected. And potentially how because AI is going to get so strong, we could actually end up seeing a significant disruption to the labor market, exposing 300 million full-time workers to automation. Lawyers and administrative staff would be among the greatest risk of becoming redundant. Wow, lawyers. I didn't even think about lawyers. I mean, I still think you need great people who can present a case, but if you can have AI do your case law searching for you and like go through these 5,000 cases and find me case law related to my case. Oh my God. Oh, that's a game changer because you have to like pay people lots of money right now to do research, or like when you do discovery, and you get a box of 5,000 pages of documents, scan it up and tell AI, find incriminating evidence. And then stitch a story together about how this person's a criminal or a fraud or whatever. Oh my God, that's crazy. I didn't even think about lawyers. I mean, I get it from the point of view of like document prep, but wow. To calculate that roughly 2/3 of jobs in the US and Europe are exposed to some degree of AI automation based on data and tasks typically performed in thousands of occupations. Most people would see less than half of their workload automated. And probably see their jobs continue. Well, yeah, sure, because we've got a lot of workers around the world. But still, 300 million job losses, that'd be crazy. And that's just with what we know right now. We could see 63% of the U.S. workforce affected, 30% unaffected. Probably, like, honestly, construction, right? Like, I mean, you swinging a hammer, it's going to be a while before you get your Optimus bot to come swing your hammer for you. Wow, that's wild. Here's another one. AI develops cancer treatment in 30 days and predicts survival rate. New York Post. Oh, wow. Here's a use case to show the capability and complexity that AI can replace. Artificial intelligence just developed a treatment for cancer in just 30 days and can predict a patient's survival rate. A new study published in the Journal of Chemical Science. Researchers at the University of Toronto, along with In Silico Medicine, developed a potential treatment for some form of carcinoma. That's like a skin cancer, right? I don't know. Whatever. I'm not a doctor. I'm a stock doctor. Where's my doctor thing? Anyway, with an AI drug discovery platform called Pharma AI, HCC is the most. Oh, it's a liver. See, that just tells you how wrong I was. HCC is the most common type of liver cancer that occurs when a tumor grows on the liver. Okay. AI-powered protein structure database from Pharma AI uncovered a novel target, a previously unknown treatment pathway for cancer, and developed a novel hit molecule that can bind to the target without aid. Dude, are you serious? Holy crap. That is absolutely incredible. Wow, that's really, really awesome. Any potential drug would need to go through clinical trials before widespread use. Yeah, but you know what we're gonna get next? We're gonna get AI clinical trials. Well, the AI took the drug and the AI survived. AI is rapidly changing the way drugs and medicine are discovered and developed from traditional methods of trial and error, which are slow and expensive, which limit the scope of expansion. AlphaFold broke new scientific ground in predicting the structure of proteins. Protein folding, by the way, is something I basically know nothing about. I am clearly an incompetent when it comes to protein folding. But apparently, when you're trying to do like genetic work, you're trying to predict how basically proteins in your body or in nature can be created. And we're really bad at doing that. But AI is apparently really good at doing that. So if you care about folding proteins, this is good. That's about as deep as I can go. I'm sorry. Like I will just be transparent with you. There's some things I just don't understand. Yeah, cool pictures, trials, medicines. Look at that. In vivo, in vitro, in life, in petri dish. See, look, I'm an expert. I know what I'm talking about. Anyway, this is really cool. Wait. In silico? Wait, what? What? Wait a sec. This is what I was joking about, discoveries, like doing clinical trials in chips and that. But that's kind of what they're talking about here. AI could be a cutting-edge technology for future cancer care. Yeah. I mean, that's basically okay. Yeah, that's basically what they described earlier about being able to figure out a new potential cure for cancer. That's crazy. Really, really cool. So I have to say, AI, absolutely phenomenal. And if any of this makes you nervous, get life insurance in as little as 5 minutes. Make sure you check out the programs on Building Your Wealth, link down below. We're starting again with our buy-sell alerts. We just did some awesome sell-put alerts for something that ended up playing out really well. I hope to have many more of those great plays. I look forward to also you getting yourself 12 free stocks at Webull. MattKevin.com/Webull. And go to househack.com if you're an accredited investor, because you got an expiration for that on the 31st.